sure you watch to the very end because I think the last one's the coolest. So first things first, if you don't even know what an EOS is, it's a lip balm. So there's a lid and it has this beautifully shaped, sort of egg-shaped lip balm. And the cool thing about this is that you can kind of scoop out the lip balm. Obviously you wouldn't do this if you're going to use it, but if you want to just use the container, it comes in 3 separate parts. So I'm just going to show you here that there's a bottom, there's this middle piece that screws everything together, and then there's obviously the lid. So I'm just going to show you here, if you want to get straight to these hacks without even, using your lip balm, you can just scoop it right out. Obviously don't waste your lip balm. Make sure that you either put it back in the container when you're done using it for whatever you need it for, or use another container for your lip balm. So I'm just showing you the 3 pieces that make up an EOS container. So you have the lid, the middle part, and the base. And it's the lid, you guys, where you get the nice egg shape. So you kind of want to work upside down when you're making these hacks. So make sure you guys watch closely when I show you these and let me know which one is your favorite. First hack I'm going to show you is the edible EOS, which is made out of Jolly Rancher. Now this actually stems from our most popular video on our Happy Toy Time channel if you want to check it out. And it's so simple. So obviously you're going to need Jolly Ranchers. This time around I'm going to use apple because it's so bright and fun and of course super delicious. So you're going to need about maybe 5 Jolly Ranchers, and the most important thing, you guys, is using a microwavable safe container with a handle, because you guys have to microwave this stuff and it gets really hot. So you want to make sure that you have a nice handle on it, and then just always microwave it probably about 15 seconds at a time, checking and stirring. I'm prepping my EOS container. I'm taking the lid, not the base, the lid, spraying it with a little bit of an oil, like whatever you guys want. I have this cooking oil spray, just so that the candy doesn't stick. I'm going to screw on the middle piece to the lid, so make sure you guys do that. I'm all ready to go. I'm going to put my candy in the microwave, and this is what it looks like. It's extremely hot. I'm going to stir out all the bubbles, and the stuff does harden quite quickly, so make sure that you guys are ready to go with your container. Be extremely careful. Use adult supervision if required, okay? I don't want to hear in the comments that someone has burned themselves, so please be careful, you guys. Pour the stuff really slow, and most importantly, using a microwavable safe container. You just want to bounce it on the counter a little bit to get out all the bubbles, and then put it in the fridge or freezer if you want to move things along a little bit faster, and there you go. Now, I get a lot of people complaining about how to get the Jolly Rancher off their containers. So just like you would suck on a candy in your mouth, you can just put that under the tap with hot water and it should dissolve right away. So here we have our EOS, nice and hard. So you're going to snap on the bottom. Make sure that the bottom is lined up with the middle piece. You'll see there's little flat sides. Carefully screw it, like screw the lid off obviously, and there you go. And if you do these steps all correctly, it should be super easy and end up looking like this. And the cool thing about this, you guys, is that put the lid on and you can obviously have some more candy, and then put the lid on and save it for later. So a perfect little treat. Okay, hack number 2 is our EOS eraser. So here I have some eraser clay that you bake in the oven. So I'm just going to grab some little balls of rainbow and I'm going to roll it out and then mix it all together, and you bake it in the oven at about 210 for 30 minutes. So you can really create any shape you want with this stuff, which is so cool. So obviously I'm going to shove it in our little EOS container, and then you have a super cool eraser EOS. Okay, so I'm just going to trim some of the eraser off so I can just put it in the top of my EOS. So how cool does that look? I'm just going to smush it in there to ensure that I get the egg shape that we all love so much. So smush, smush, smush so that there's no holes or anything. I'm screwing on the base, and you'll see how it kind of oozes out into these little triangles. Now, we actually have to bake this, right? So we don't want it a part of the plastic case because that doesn't go in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw out the EOS carefully so it doesn't change the shape, and then I'm going to scoop out all those little triangles, and then just like I showed you at the beginning of this video how I scooped out the lip balm, I'm going to scoop out the eraser so I can put it in the oven. Okay, Okay, so here is our eraser prior to putting it in the oven, so it's all ready to go. And again, about 210 Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. And there we go, this is done. Make sure you let it cool off, obviously. So I'm just gonna find where it matches up with the grooves again, and you're gonna put it in there. And then you're going to put lots of glue gun over top of it so that it stays really tight in the case, obviously. And here I'm just showing you the base, and there, oh, that was so fast with the glue gun. And then you're going to snap on the base, and there you go. And that is your EOS eraser. To show you our third hack, which is made out of gummy bears. How squishy does that look? So of course you're gonna need some gummy bears. I'm gonna use red ones because they're just so fun to look at. So I'm just showing you a gummy bear, oh so squishy. So we're hoping that the EOS turns out to be this squishy and fun, which it totally does. So grab that microwavable container again, grease up the lid. Remember, we're working with the lid. Screw on the case, and let's get ready to go. So this takes no time to microwave. Please make sure you keep watching it when you're microwaving it. It maybe takes 15 seconds. So carefully pouring it in. Obviously watch that you don't burn yourself, and please make sure you have adult supervision if required. Once it cools off a little bit, I'm just sort of fixing some of the gooiness that spilled over the edge that might get in the way of the base, tapping it to ensure that all the air bubbles are out, and then we should be good to go. I always put it in the freezer. This one did take quite a bit longer than the Jolly Rancher, maybe about a half an hour or so at least. And then the big reveal. So carefully taking off the lid, and you have this so fun, delicious, chewy, edible EOS. Look at that smoosh. And if you put it back in the lid and let it rest upside down, it goes back into its shape, which I think is pretty cool. So that's our squishy, edible EOS treat made out of gummy bears. So fun. Hack number 4 is a cute little EOS container for our slime, for all those slime lovers out there. So we have some Flarp here, a bright green, which is super awesome to play with. We love it so much. But what if you want to carry just around a little bit? So I have, what is this thing called? One of those grays that I've already cut from a previous video. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit more, and nail clippers are the perfect thing. Nail clippers are a little bit round, obviously, for your nails, and it catches in just perfectly to the grays. So you get a nice clean cut. If you do require an even cleaner cut, depending on your nail clippers, you can use your X-Acto knife, which I'll show you here in a second. But just make sure that you guys are really careful. The nail clippers really do a very good job at getting it nice and close, so I highly recommend that first. Other than that, you guys, you just put the pieces together and you put a little bit of slime in, and you're good to go. And you guys, the thing is that you don't even have to modify your grate if you don't want to. The slime will just ooze through the holes anyway, so you don't have to cut off those little plastic things. You can just leave it the way it is. So it's purely a personal choice, which you prefer. So if you want to be able to smush it in your EOS container like you would with Flarp to make cool, fun, squishy noises, you can do that. Or you can just leave your EOS container the way it is for future hacks. Okay, this next hack is purely just for fun, so it's kind of silly, but I shoved Hubba Bubba Bubblegum into an EOS container. So you got a little cute container full of Hubba Bubba Bubblegum. So obviously I have my original Hubba Bubba container, and I'm just going to put it in the microwave for a little bit just to soften it up. Again, just like anything else that you would microwave, just make sure that you keep an eye on it. This doesn't melt or anything, it just gets soft and hot. So it's actually quite hot when I'm touching it here, but I'm just mushing it together. And then I'm just going to shove it into the lid. Remember, we're working with the lid when we're creating the shape, not the base. You just want to make sure that it doesn't get in the groove so that when you screw it on, it doesn't get stuck or anything like that. After you've screwed on that middle piece, you just take a little bit more of your bubble gum and just smush it into the grate to join up to the first part that you put in, and that's pretty much it. I did put it in the fridge for a little bit just to harden just a little bit, but you still want to make sure it's soft so that you can bite it. And the best part, I think, is this. Look how smooth and cool that looks. Like, you won't even know that that's bubble gum. You think it's lip balm, and then you're with your friends and you're like, hey, I'm feeling like I need some gum, and you bite it and it'll just be so funny. So pretty awesome. So I'm just gonna take a bite myself, see how it is. Oh, yep, still tastes like Hubba Bubba. So yummy and tasty and chewy. moving on to the 6th EOS hack, and this is probably my favorite, and this is the EOS Pencil Sharpener, and this really does work, so it's something that I'm actually going to be having around to, you know, sharpen all my pencils. So grab yourself a container. I'm going to use the same one that I used for the slime because you do require that you cut all those little pieces out of the grate. You want to make sure that you're not doing that to too many of your EOS containers, and of course you need a pencil sharpener, so just make sure that you have one that does fit in the case. Just make sure you test it prior to, and then you can get yourself started. Other things that you will need to make this happen are a hot glue gun, some super glue, and an X-Acto knife. Okay, so starting with making the hole for our pencil sharpener, which is really the only thing that you're going to be doing for this hack. So it is quite important, obviously, that you create a hole that's big enough for your pencil. So I'm going to be using my glue gun, which is the perfect tool for this, as it's warm enough that I'll just melt a hole straight through it, and it ends up being the perfect size for a pencil. So again, making sure that you're careful, but it is hot enough, so you want to slowly put pressure on it and just be really patient and take your time. And if you require adult supervision, make sure that you guys have that, as glue guns are hot. So be smart with this, and I will show you how it turns out. Okay, so after being patient and taking my time warming that hole up and melting through, I'm ready to just peel off the excess plastic that it has created. Just remember that X-Acto knives are super sharp, so just be really careful, and this peels off so easily, you guys, so it's working out really well. So I'm kind of going in and scooping out any of the plastic that could potentially get in the way of the pencil, as that is the most important part, is ensuring that our pencil fits. And if you find that your hole is a little bit too small, you can sort of just chisel away a little bit of the plastic. I found with the X-Acto knife, this EOS plastic is quite soft, and it cut away pretty easily. Okay, so just testing out the hole, and so far I am happy with this. So I am now going to grab my pencil sharpener, and we're going to glue it so that it is in line with that hole. Here's my super glue from Michaels, and obviously just be super careful with this, you guys, because you don't want to be gluing things that you're not prepared for. And it's so easy, you just put a little dab around the hole of your pencil sharpener and just stick it to the hole of your EOS, and I let it sit probably for at least 12 to 15 hours, and it worked out completely fine. I had nothing else in there holding it in there, and the pressure of the pencil didn't bother it at all. What it looks like once it's all dried, so it's securely on there. And remember that we're working with the base now, so you're going to snap on the middle piece, or you can screw the middle piece to the lid and then snap everything together, whichever way you prefer. So I'm just going to snap this in. That's the way I'm going to do it. Make sure that the flat lines line up together before you try snapping them, or it might prove to be quite challenging. And then I'm going to screw the lid on, and you're going to have a super cool pencil sharpener in the Our 7th EOS hack is how to make your own EOS soap. To make this soap, you'll require fragrance of your choice, coloring for your soap that is soap friendly, as well as soap, and I got this all from Michaels. So I'm just going to cut off an amount that I think is appropriate for my EOS. Grab yourself a microwavable dish, and the handle is preferred in case it does get hot. So just chisel away, or buy a smaller block than I have here for your EOS. And it's super simple, you guys. You just put it in the microwave, pour it into your container, and then you have a portable soap, which I think is a really good idea because you can keep it in your school bag or your purse or whatever. And then you have your own soap that maybe there's people out there that have sensitivities to different soaps and stuff like that. So, or maybe you end up going to a bathroom that doesn't even have soap. So a cute little portable EOS soap is definitely something that you might want to try. Before you microwave everything, just make sure that your lid is upside down with the middle piece screwed on, and then you're good to pour your microwaved soap into your container. put that in the fridge or freezer, and then it shouldn't take too long at all to harden, and then you'll be good to go to have your own portable EOS soap. So when you guys use this, just, get your hands wet, obviously like you normally do when you wash your hands, and just rub it all over your hands, and you'll see that it'll suds up like any other soap. And then when you're done with it, you just put the lid back on, plop it back in your bag, and then you're done. Thank you so much for coming to watch this